When we speak of the evolution of human rights, we often look at modern revolutions like charters, declarations, and democracies. But centuries before these ideas were written in European courts, they were already embedded in the moral and legal fabric of Islamic civilization. At its heart was a simple truth revealed in the Qur'an. Every human being carries dignity bestowed by God, not by kings. The divine foundation of human dignity, the Qur'an declares, "We have honored the children of Adam." Quran 17:70. This single verse lays the foundation for human equality and worth. It says that dignity is not earned by wealth, race, or status. It is inherent, divine, and universal. Early Islamic thinkers expanded this concept of dignity into a moral framework that guided law, governance, and daily life. No one stood above the law, not even the rulers, because the law itself was seen as a trust from God. Justice was more than a legal term, it was a sacred command. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The most beloved of people to Allah are those who are most beneficial to others." This sense of service, compassion, and justice became the foundation of an ethical civilization that valued both rights and responsibilities. The Maqasid al-Sharia, the objectives of law. While Sharia is often misunderstood today, its original meaning is simple. It means the path to water, the source of life. In Islamic thought, Sharia wasn't merely a legal code. It was a moral compass designed to preserve what makes life meaningful and just. Islamic jurists like Imam al-Ghazali and al-Shatibi articulated the Maqasid al-Sharia, the objectives of divine law. They identified 5 universal aims of justice. Protection of life. The sanctity of human life was absolute. Protection of religion. Freedom to practice faith and conscience. Protection of intellect. The pursuit of knowledge and wisdom. Protection of lineage. The security of family and social continuity. Protection of property. The right to personal ownership and security. These principles echo today's modern human rights charters, the right to life, freedom of belief, education, family, and property. But the brilliance of Islamic law lay in its balance. It connected every right with an ethical duty. Freedom is sacred, but so is responsibility. We are accountable not just before society, but before God. The scholars who shaped ethical reasoning. As Islam spread across vast regions, from Andalusia to Persia, scholars began to explore how divine law could respond to the complexities of changing societies. One of the greatest amongst them was Al-Farabi, 872 to 950 CE, known in the West as the second teacher after Aristotle. He envisioned a virtuous city where rulers governed not by power, but by wisdom and justice. To Al-Farabi, the purpose of society was not wealth or conquest, but human perfection, the moral and intellectual elevation of its citizens. Then came Ibn Rushd, Averroes of Cordoba, a philosopher and jurist Islamic and Western thought. He argued that reason and revelation are not opposites, they are 2 paths to the same truth. His commentaries on Aristotle later ignited the European Renaissance, influencing thinkers like Thomas Aquinas. Ibn Rushd believed that rational inquiry was not a threat to faith, but its fulfillment. For a just society must be built on understanding, not blind obedience. Meanwhile, Al-Ghazali, one of the most influential theologians in Islamic history, brought balance to this dialogue. He warned against both pure rationalism and literalism. For him, true knowledge united intellect, ethics, and spirituality, and he called it the light of the heart. Through the writings of these scholars, Islamic thought transformed into a living dialogue between law and love, faith and reason, the divine and the human. Justice in action, the Islamic legal tradition. In the courts of early Islamic civilization, the idea of justice for all was not just a slogan, it was practice. Judges were independent of rulers and answered only to divine law. A poor farmer could bring a case against a wealthy merchant, even a caliph, and expect a fair hearing. One famous story tells of Caliph Ali, who lost a court case against a Jewish citizen over a missing shield. The judge ruled in favor of the Jew because Ali lacked evidence, and Ali accepted the verdict humbly. The Jewish man, moved by such justice, embraced Islam voluntarily. This story captures the essence of equality before the law, a concept that modern democracies still struggle to uphold. In the Ottoman Empire, the Sultan's courts maintained this same balance through Sharia and Qanun, civil law, ensuring both religious and secular harmony in governance. These principles influenced legal developments far beyond the Islamic world, shaping medieval Europe's understanding of law, ethics, and governance. The ethic of compassion and the rights of others. Beyond the courtroom, Islamic ethics emphasized compassion as the highest moral duty. Charity, zakat, was not voluntary. It was a right of the poor, mandated by faith. Feeding the hungry, freeing captives, protecting travelers, and caring for orphans were seen as acts of worship equal to prayer. In one hadith, the Prophet Muhammad said, "None of you truly believes until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself." This wasn't limited to Muslims. Throughout Islamic history, Jews, Christians, and others lived as Ahl al-Dhimma, protected communities with their own places of worship, courts, and rights. At its best, the Islamic world demonstrated pluralism with purpose, diverse faiths coexisting under a shared moral code of dignity and justice. The enduring legacy, from the libraries of Baghdad to the courts of Cordoba, from the desert sermons of Medina to the bustling trade routes of Cairo, Islamic civilization built a framework of justice rooted in the sacredness of human life and the equality of all souls before God. It wasn't perfect, no civilization is, but its principles endure because they connect law with conscience and power with humility. Today, when the world debates human rights, religious freedom, or justice, echoes of those early ideas still resonate, that rights are not gifts from rulers but trusts from the Creator, that dignity is not granted by law but recognized by it, and that true justice begins with compassion. Conclusion. In the evolution of human rights, Islamic philosophy reminds us of something timeless, that freedom without morality leads to chaos, and law without mercy becomes tyranny. Between these two, faith found a balance, a path to justice that began not in rebellion, but in reverence.